Hi there. Sorry, this area is off limits to port vision. Oh, wait half a second. You're the inspector. Sorry about that. I'll buzz you right in.
Thanks.
Feel free to have a look around, sir.
Oh, what's this?
The biology of this sprat is highly unusual. This sprat has been in contact with multiple parasites, yet shows no symptoms of infection.
Well, sprats do have highly adaptive immune systems.
An excellent point, Inspector. The unique immunological subsystem found in sprats is advantageous in fending off parasites, pathogens, and other biological threats.
But why is the sprat so big?
A cursory analysis of this organism's anatomy suggests it was bred deliberately for its unusually large size.
But what would anyone want an unusually large sprat for?
Based on slug records of board-issued punitive sanctions against sublight salvage and shipping, this sprat is most likely intended for cage fighting.
Interesting.
You're the inspector, aren't you? Boss Kincannon said you'd be by about the cargo that's been going missing. Gosh, this is so neat. A real-life inspector. What's that like? Have you solved any mysteries yet? Ever had to shoot a suspect?
Yeah, I've had to take down a few perps.
Perps? Just like a real inspector. Right, so the missing cargo. How can I help your investigation?
Well, tell me what the culprit has been stealing.
That's the weird part. There's no pattern, far as I can tell. The thefts don't make sense. I ask you, who would steal a handful of Spacer's Choice Sabers so dull they can barely cut mud, but leave the spectrum black? Ugh. Who'd be desperate enough to want to steal a Spacer's Choice Saber, full stop?
Sounds like our perp's not fencing the stolen goods.
Yeah, probably not. No one's dumb enough to think Spacer's Choice Sabers are worth half a damn. Then there's the most recent theft. 5 boxes of pens and a couple of sodas. I can't decide which one's sadder.
Maybe our perp is desperately low on ink.
I wish they hadn't stolen the blue pens. We can never keep enough of those in stock.
Alright, so who has access to the cargo?
Everyone here at Freight Storage and Processing, for a start. Thing is, the cargo is going missing before the shipments even get to the warehouse. Best I can figure, it's probably getting lost in the shipping yard. As for who has access there, Benton Chan, he's the shipping yard manager. He told me it's mainly just the loading automechs that handle cargo.
Well, could Mr. Chen have anything to do with it?
Nah, Benton's too lazy for crime. The extra work would kill him. Last time I asked him to check the automechs, the whole head told me he couldn't help because he was dead.
Is he dead?
Brain dead, maybe. But no. My point is that if you think the automechs are a lead, you'll have to check on them yourself. Hopefully, you're mechanically inclined.
Alright, that's enough for now.
Oh, before I forget, I figured you might want to access my terminal, so I had a spare keycard made. It's all yours.
Alright, thank you. Anything on there I should know about?
Oh no. I forgot to delete all of those incriminating messages I sent about which cargo to steal. Nah. I do have a list of cargo that's gone missing, though, if that helps any.
Thanks. There you go. Incoming. Pens, sodas. I don't see a pattern. We got all those Deadeye MK2s in the other day, and now one of them went missing. Okay. Alright, someone's been messing around with the loading automex in the shipping yard. Let's see. 8 cases of purple berry punch, 2 boxes of blue pens, 16 pallets of cacao milk, 300 small portrait images of Spencer Woolrich, additional shipping instructions, handle with care. Wait, is this the missing or is that right? Okay. 3 Mark 7 cranial protectors, 2 cases of lemon slap, 10 Spacer's Choice sabers, 7 sets of protective clothing with safety harness, 25 cases of blasting agent, 3 boxes of dark matter bars, 4 cases of nanner spank. Okay. Right. Swing by, see what's malfunctioning. Alright, well, yeah, that sounds about it. Sounds like there's trouble with the automex.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. This copy of TK contains 142 fewer pages than a standard copy. The missing pages were likely removed to create sufficient space for the hidden listening device inside.
Short-range transmission capabilities. The receiver must be somewhere nearby.
Inspector, please consider speaking into the device in order to trace the transmission and reveal the receiver's location.
Alright.
No! Holy cow impression transmitted. Transmission analysis complete. While the precise location of the receiver could not be pinpointed, it has been narrowed down to a smaller, approximate range.
And how long has this transmitter been here?
Analysis inconclusive. However, there is a minor accumulation of dust particles present on the book's uppermost surface.
Oh yeah? Dust, you say? Yeah, that's dust, alright. But not dusty enough. This listening device was planted recently.
There's no way you could know that.
Additional analysis concludes your hypothesis is correct, Inspector.
I'd say I'm impressed, but I really don't want to encourage you.
Alright, let's conclude our examination.
What's that you found? No, wait, don't tell me. Let's save it for the big reveal once you've solved the case.
Works for me. Oh, I think I found it.
Discrepancy detected nearby. Transmission endpoint discovered. The receiver in this book matches the transmitter to the listening device found in Cedric's office. It's somewhat grime-covered.
Any clues as to who put it here?
Due to the high level of foot traffic in this area, this unit is unable to determine who placed the device.
Ugh. How long has this been on the ground?
Long enough that you're gonna wash your hands real well after this.
Based on the accumulated mix of sludge and detritus, the receiver has been present since approximately a week before Helen's death.
Alright. Let me take it. Oh, God. Oh, it's so cold. Oh, that's not good. Why is it cold like that?
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Really? With this thing?
Inspector, this loading automechanical's programming does not match factory default settings. The standard defensive protocol has been modified to include an additional trigger.
Well, let's identify the new trigger.
There is a directive in place to initiate defensive protocol should an unsanctioned data log installed in this automechanical be removed.
Really? Alright, let's scan for signs of unusual behavior.
SUG automechanical maintenance records indicate this particular unit is frequently reported as out of position or missing for periods of time.
I see. Alright, amplifier, Define standard defensive protocol for me.
For Type K-19 cargo transport automechanicals, defensive protocol is triggered by attempted interference with cargo, or its transportation, or attempted destruction of the unit. Once triggered, defensive protocol targets the perpetrator and applies lethal force until the target has been deceased for a minimum of 3 minutes.
I see. Well, let's have a look inside this automech.
Loading automechanical unit K-14 is fully operational at 99% power. Please designate the cargo to be transported and its destination. How can this automechanical assist you?
Hello, I'm here to look at your data logs.
Certainly. Access panel is now unlocked. Ejecting data log 17C. Alert. Failsafe protocol triggered. Kill mode initiated. Preparing to end user.
Well, hold on a minute. I have some questions for you.
Understood. This unit is programmed to facilitate user queries. Kill mode pause. User termination to follow.
Alright. So what's on the data log you just ejected?
The ejected data log contains instructions to move cargo shipment 6, 8, 7, 5 outside the boundaries of the shipping yard. It also contains instructions to move randomized cargo shipments outside the boundaries of the shipping yard at intervals of 1 to 4 days.
I see. Well, what was in shipment 6875?
Apologies. This unit does not have access to cargo inventory lists.
Alright, thanks. Now, I believe I owe you a fight.
Kill mode re-engaged. Have a nice day.
Trouble incoming, Captain.
Headed with something bigger! Nice one!
We're not getting through.
Security threat eliminated.
Time for a drink?
Alright, well, that could have gotten better.
Inspector, to what do I owe the pleasure?
I've solved your cargo skimming issue.
Ooh, I love this part. The big reveal. So tell me, what happened?
Well, you've got a serious security problem.
What makes you say that?
Well, somebody bypassed the loading mech security system and rewired them to skim random goods.
Damn, you're good. Hacking the Automex. So that was our skimmer's game. But why? Everything that was stolen has seemed random. I certainly see no pattern.
Yes, the theft was random, except for a single shipment.
So, our culprit had something specific they wished to acquire and used the random theft as a smokescreen. I must say, Inspector, you've done excellent work on this case. Then that just leaves how the culprit knew where their true target would be, or indeed, that Slug would soon possess it.
What?
Okay, that's very impressive. Don't ever touch me again. Am I right to think what you found in my office earlier was the other half of this listening device?
It sure was. And whoever this device belongs to, that's our culprit.
Not quite, Inspector. That listening device belongs to me. I lent it to Halcyon Helen to assist her with role research.
I see. She died before she could deactivate the mech she hacked.
That, or she never intended it to stop. Impossible to know now. Unbelievable. I helped her. Gave her whatever she needed. I thought we were doing each other a good turn.
Well, you know what they say, Cedric. No good deed unpunished.
This is a betrayal, Inspector. I do not take betrayal lightly. Helen should consider herself very lucky indeed that she is already among the dead. And that Some other bastard beat me to putting her in the ground.
Well, that's very dangerous talk for a man under investigation for Helen's murder.
Halcyon Helen is already dead. If I'd known Helen was stealing from me, I may very well have killed her, or had her killed. Alas, I did not.
Or maybe you did know, and this is all a show for my benefit.
Oh, that is good, Inspector. Now you are thinking in the manner you must if you intend to get to the bottom of this mess. I wish you luck with your investigation, though I doubt you'll need it. You'll find Helen's murderer. I'm confident of that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must find a way to excise my anger that minimally damages my business empire. I expect it will involve shooting quite a lot of guns.
You go ahead and do that. So yeah.
Don't think I know you. What do you want?
Hey there. I just came to tell you that I like boneless spratwurst.
Yep, that sure is the passphrase, even if it is dumb as hell. What's Dash's plan?
Well, I'm your mark for item retrieval. Tell me what you know where I'm going.
You're looking for cargo from our ship, the Rat King. Small package, wrapped in brown paper. It got moved to the shipping yard, but I'm not completely sure where.
Well, if you're not sure where it is, how am I supposed to find it?
I'm sure some sluggite knows how to find it, or has it listed in a terminal. All else fails, you could just case the joint. Might end up with some extra loot for your troubles.
Oh, good. Glad to know the level of professionalism I'm dealing with. Oh. This looks like it. Heavy package wrapped in brown paper. On the back, the words "Love Gladys" are scrawled in black ink. Well, there we go.
You're back, I see. Hope the law hasn't caught on to what you're doing. Law meaning authorities, that is, not the forces running the universe.
Sure, yeah. I've got the cargo. So what's next?
No complications? Grand. The recipient is Joseph Dempsey. He runs the Eridanos Dry Goods and Sundry.
Alright. I hope all this legwork is worth it.
Welcome back. The Eridanos Dry Goods and Sundry is just as standard and unremarkable as when you left it.
Standard and unremarkable, eh? Maybe you should invest in an advertising seminar.
Hey, folks take a lot of comfort in knowing their neighborhood general store is unchanging, eternal, like the land beneath their feet or the air in their lungs. Whoops, forgot I ain't supposed to poeticize on work time. The drab nature of our store profits is what I meant. Now, can I sell you anything?
I've got something for you, actually.
A shipment, you say? The only shipment I'm expecting is 100 pounds of salt tuna a week from now. And I certainly don't expect it to be brought by an inspector.
Did I say shipment? I said I like boneless spratwurst.
Is that supposed to be some kind of code phrase? It has no nuance, no subtlety. Sticks out like a bent nail. A constable could detect that from the other side of Eridanos. I learn about secret codes in my off time. For fun. It's never anything that I actually need to use, mind.
Drop the act, Joseph. You already know why I'm here. What you want to know is what I've brought.
Playing dumb didn't dissuade you, huh? You're pretty sharp. And correct. Follow me to the back.
Alright. Now we're talking. Oh.
Alright. So, as you can see, this actually ain't the most standard and unremarkable general store this side of Halcyon. Welcome to my black market. Whatever you're here for. Weapons, information, contraband, cane and ointment. I've got it. Sorry for the frosty reception. Had to make sure you weren't with the constable. But seeing how you're a freelancer, I hope I ain't got nothing to worry about.
I suppose we'll have to see.
I suppose we will. Thanks for the delivery. I'm waiting on my next black market shipment, but if you come by later, you'll have free access to pick up all the contraband you want. Here's your pay. Good doing business with you, especially seeing how you didn't take this to the constable. Would have been a mighty pain in my tail end.
Yeah. So, since I went through all the work to bring it to you, can I see what's in the box?
See? No. But I might tell you what's in it, so long as it's nothing proprietary, volatile, or breathing. Let's have a little look. Contraband weapon parts, a few chemicals for the crafting of high explosives. All fairly standard. Oh, and a canister of trimethyl sulfoxide. Where dimethyl sulfoxide is good at keeping folks in stasis, trimethyl sulfoxide is nice for helping refrigerators run. Useful stuff.
Interesting. Goodbye, Joseph. See you next time.
Hope the job's coming along well. No sign of the constable, which really makes me more nervous.
One package of questionable goods delivered and signed for.
Excellent. Let's divvy up the payment 3 ways and we can consider this matter settled.
Here you go.
Thank the law. Should be just enough to get Cass out of her damn cell. I guess breaking even is better than leaving with your partner in the clink. You might not be Hawthorne, but you can sure resolve a problem like he could. Maybe better. Thanks again for all your help.
See ya.
Don't mess with us!
The hell? Oh. List of guest special requests, some drinks, some food items, and tellingly, a recently fulfilled request for a fresh Tirare bile gland from one Spencer Woolrich.
Excuse me, Gunther. I need to ask you something.
Who in the hell is Gunter? I told you to call me Hunter. Come on.
Oh, right. Hunter, have you seen a little mechanical wandering through here? Might have been wearing my hat.
I can't say I have. I can sell you a new hat if you want. Or some fine, legally obtained hunting supplies. You could go get that mechanical thief yourself.
She's not a thief. She's lost. I just want her back. Oh, hey there, stranger. Don't mean to interrupt your business, but have you seen a stray mechanical wandering about?
I don't think that I have, sorry.
Oh, that's not good. I hope she hasn't gotten herself into any trouble.
So instead of hunting wildlife, you're hunting mechanicals. Doesn't seem very fulfilling.
Oh, I ain't no hunter. At least not in the traditional sense. Wrenches always suited me better than firearms. A mechanical under my care up and wandered off, that's all. I gotta get her back before anyone notices that either of us are missing. The shopkeep says I should buy one of his rifles and go looking myself. But like my machine, I'm not combat inclined.
Well, what kind of mechanical is your lost charge?
Betty's just your standard tripod mechanical. Though she probably is still wearing my hat. Without it, she seems kind of naked. Her main purpose is cacao milking, but the only cacaos in the reserve are closed. Without a directive, she shouldn't have had reason to wander away from the milking area.
Hope it's not milking anything that's not a cacao. Almost all other beast milk is toxic.
Nothing a few dozen rounds of processing and human trials can't fix.
Gonna need to find Betty in the first place before anything can or can't happen with what she's milked.
Well, I didn't think mechanicals could just wander off on their own.
I'm contractually obligated to inform you that slug mechanicals are not notoriously inclined to malfunction, and any rumors to the contrary are slander. But yeah, usually even slug machines don't get lost on their own, so I guess I'm to blame. Setting Betty's search parameters is my job. Must have added a 0 where I shouldn't have.
Are you sure? I mean, mechanicals malfunction, but all this feels a little unusual.
Hey, I ain't in the habit of intentionally losing company property. That'd be one hell of a violation. Besides, I'm rather fond of Betty. This is all just an unfortunate cycle of events. If you can help rectify it and get me my Betty back, I'll give you everything I got.
Alright, I'll keep my eye out for any suspicious mechanicals.
Hey, thanks so much. It would have been mighty lonely without her. Being unemployed, I mean. Be lonely being unemployed. If you find Betty, try sneaking up and hacking her. If you can't do that, finding a way to stop her current routines should send her back home.
I'll see what I can do.
Welcome to Hunter Legal's Legal Hunter Supplies. I am Hunter Legal. How might I help you today?
That's quite the name your shop has.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean. It is a perfectly normal name for a shop dispensing hunter supplies.
Do you mean hunting supplies, like the sign above your shop says?
No, these are supplies for hunters. Hunter supplies. It works either way. It works either way. Boy, damn it. I wish I thought to get that sign switched out when I changed my name.
I'm investigating the murder of Halcyon Helen. Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately?
Unusual? This whole land complex is a failed wildlife exhibition turned hunting reserve. You can't go 10 feet without stepping in unusual. But I reckon you're asking about people unusual. I'd go have a chat with the prophet of profitability. Maybe she can intuit you in the right direction or something. But she is mighty far in the depths of the reserve. Perhaps you should purchase one of my fine armaments for the journey.
I think I'll be fine. Excuse me.
Sorry, but we're a little busy right now. I'm sure one of the other guys would be happy to give you a tour.
Lawrence, do you know who you're talking to? We always have time for the inspector.
The inspector? That's you? I am so sorry. We didn't know what we were doing. We're so sorry. It'll never happen again.
Seems like a strange spot for you two to loiter. What are you two doing?
Oh, Law, it's all over. I told you someone would catch on sooner or later, Belle.
Lawrence, let me do the talking here. Inspector, pay him no mind. I'm sure you've bigger salt tuna to can than us.
Are you two hotel workers? Pretty far from a Grand Colonial.
Normally, yes, but we take guests out on live-action wilderness experiences for additional pay. You know, shoot a raft here, walk there. We're just between tours right now.
I'm not buying it. How's about you just tell me what you're up to?
Buying? We're not selling anything. Especially since we're between tours.
Don't pay him any mind, Inspector. His upper story's a little gap-toothed, if you know what I mean. But seeing as you insist on sticking your... That is, since you're so curious, I'll fill you in on what we're doing. We, misplaced some people on our last tour. Misplaced them in the maws of some local predators. Now we're stuck here wondering how to get their room keys.
So you got your guests killed, and all you care about are their room keys.
Hey, we all got our priorities. Not worrying about those keys ain't gonna bring their owners back from the dead. Anyway, the sooner we get those keys back, the sooner we can make it look like the ex-guests checked out early.
So you're trying to cover up the deaths of missing guests.
Wouldn't you? I mean, the dangers were all listed in fine print on the waivers they signed. Least they can do is not destroy our reputation when they get themselves killed. We knew sooner or later this was gonna happen. We've got some hush money tucked away. If you can get those keys for us, it's all yours.
Say I got your keys. What's to stop me from telling your bosses what happened?
You kidding? You're welcome to.
Our bosses would want this situation resolved, just like us. We're the real victims here. The dead can't suffer anymore, but we can, and we will if we have to pay for all these lost keys.
Alright, I'll give you guys a break. I'll find those keys for you.
Did I just hear that right? The inspector is going to help us, Bill! Thank the stars!
We're not out of the woods yet. Let's just see what happens before we celebrate. We last saw the guests deeper in the wilderness, Inspector. That'd be a good place to look.
Alright, I'll be back once I found these keys, but try not to lose any more guests to wild beasts while I'm gone. See ya. Oh, there's one.
Don't mess with us.
Excuse me.
Cows detected nearby. Returning to slug maintenance worker.
Oh, good. Looks like I didn't even have to do anything. Just kill some canids, which is basically nothing. And there's two. And there's a third unfortunate soul.
What is this? Another soul willing to brave the dangers of the wilderness? How thrilling to find my paramour out here in the wilds. Virgil Henderson at your service. Board surprise auditor and fifth finest shot this side of Halcyon. Delighted to meet you.
Are you a hotel guest during the reserve? Where are your guards?
Guards? Don't make me laugh. How could I conduct surprise audits with an entourage of companions? I considered establishing a base of operations at the hotel, but feared someone would spot me. Discretion is extremely important for one such as myself. I'm here to conduct a surprise audit of the local holy caves, Rizzo's lone leased property in the reserve. It is rather notedly empty. Worse, it seems the evacuation occurred without anyone filing the proper emergency paperwork. Tut-tut.
Well, if there aren't any Rizzo's personnel in the caves, how are you going to audit them?
All Rizzo's facilities require consistent logging of work conditions. I suspect there will be information regarding the bunker during its prime, should I look into the right places. With all this in mind, there is a small issue. I actually conducted an investigation of this facility several years ago. Since my biometric data might still be registered, it's possible that my entering the facility would not be legally classified a surprise. It's a puzzle, to be sure.
Why does it matter if it's legally a surprise if no one is in the bunker to be surprised?
I may be a dashing gunslinging space auditor, but even I know better than to question protocol. The more order there is, the less suffering. It's basic science. Suffice it to say, it doesn't behoove one of Halcyon's most prolific auditors to try to bend the rules when he thinks no one's looking. Because, my friend, someone's always looking.
I see. Well, I may be able to go in and conduct your investigation for you. For a price.
An uncertain suggestion. There are no shortage of legal loopholes for freelance work, but I fear setting my work on the shoulders of someone I've never met before. I may be able to hire you, but let me ask you a question to see if you're fit to represent me first. How much do you know about free market economics?
Well, I know that as a freelancer, I'm more cost-effective than dying.
That's a sufficient amount of market knowledge indeed. I knew you were the right person for the job. Head into the holy caves and see what you can find. Keep your eyes open for journals, terminals, data pads, anything that might contain info about the operation. I'm counting on you.
Alright. I'll be back.
We make quite a team, my friend.
Alright then. And here's our last guest. Though my wounds are fatal, I, as a Byzantine, must face my death with the same dignity with which I lived my life. I hereby enclose the events leading to my demise. A tragic turn of fate separated me from my guides. The duo fled as our party encountered a single Raptidon. The cowards. I, however, drew my rifle and felled the beast, but not before it sank its teeth into my flesh. I imagine I must have been the finest thing it had ever tasted in this wretched place. Perhaps my guides will find me before I pass, though I doubt those simpletons could find their way out of a cardboard box. I believe their names were Larry and Bell, or something similarly mundane. To whoever finds this, please carry out my final wish. Pass on my rating of 1 out of 5 stars to the Grand Colonial. Guides were very unhelpful. Sincerely, Howard A. Kinsella.
Timeline discrepancy detected
What?
nearby.
Really? All the way out here? What is it? What is it? A semi-recent set of tracks in the dirt stands out from the dead leaves and those made by passing creatures.
Identifying human footprints leading out into the wilderness. It is unusual for productivity disciples to wander more than a few feet from the camp.
Are they Helen's?
Scanning. No. Helen's distinctive shoe size not found. Judging by footprint depressions and shoe size, these prints were either made by the Prophet of Profitability or Adjutant Sophia Akande. Error.
What?
Recalibrating. These footprints were made by the Prophet of Profitability. Timeline. Judging by the shape of this indentation in the dirt, a person of medium height and build laid here for a number of hours, scanning for other details. Only additional signs of disturbance are a few marks in the dirt.
Well, corpses don't get up and walk away, and there's no evidence of the body being torn apart.
Agreed. Likely theory. Individual injured was unconscious, not dead, and walked away after awakening.
I see. Well, let's keep that in mind.
Hello! Welcome to the Prophet of Profitability's Private Prosperity Retreat. Stay positive, and soon all your humors will be balanced. At least,
Hello?
that's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, I'm Aaliyah Mason. I work as the Prophet's right-hand woman. What can I do for you?
I was hired to look into Halcyon Helm's murder. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Oh my. Yes, this is important enough for me to delay my bi-hourly self-flagellation. Ask away.
Where were you at the time of the murder?
I was here, at the retreat in the company of the other disciples and clients. I rarely have more than a few minutes of alone time. Which is fine,
Right.
of course. I do what I do in the service of the Prophet. Who will, I'm sure, reward me for my sacrifice. Eventually.
Uh-huh. Have you noticed any unusual behavior in the retreat lately?
Well, by and large, no. But something rather odd did happen regarding the Prophet recently. A few
Go on.
hours after our high-profile visitor arrived a couple of days ago, the Prophet asked me to take over sessions for the remainder of the day. At first, I was excited. Thought it was my chance to show her what I could do in charge. But then I saw that she was deeply worried about something. No one saw her until the next day.
Interesting. The Prophet had some kind of feud with Halcyon Helen, right?
Yes, the circumstances there are quite unfortunate. For a time, the Prophet was completely despondent. Even the hot coal walks weren't buoying her spirits as they usually do. However, we recently had a high-profile visitor whose presence seemed to alleviate whatever the Prophet's fears were.
Let me guess. Spencer Woolrich?
Oh, you must have misheard me. I said high profile, not had profile. Mr. Woolrich comes by much too often to be worth mentioning.
I see. Well, that's all for now.
Certainly.
So what can you tell me about this, retreat?
If you felt imbalanced and unproductive, linger in your malaise no longer. We have all the amenities and practices for calming the ill humor strangling your potential. Sit for hours in our sweat house and sweat them out. Or stand amidst burning coals and feel your productive inhibitions burn away. And remember, think positive. Positivity equals productivity equals profitability.
I see. Well, forgive me, but for a positivity disciple, you sound a little less than enthused.
Oh, terribly sorry if I gave you that impression. I had a cramp. It's better now. I mean, it might be nice if I had a little inclination of whether the prophet appreciated all the cooking and cleaning and hours of meditation I do on a daily basis. But whatever she thinks isn't for me to question. I'll do my best to be more chipper.
So do you know the do you know the prophet well?
Of course. I've been studying under her for years. I know each of her techniques more or less by heart, and even have some variations of my own, such as the quintuple daily stomach purges. She's promised me that I'd be allowed to open my own branch of the retreat someday soon. Of course, I've been waiting on someday soon for coming up on 4 years now. I'm sure it's gonna happen anytime now.
Well, good luck with that. Goodbye.
Actually, before you go, I want to report something suspicious. I noticed
Yes?
the prophet's dragging something, a bundle, away from the retreat after that high-profile guest arrived. Normally, I'm the one who does her laundry, so it was strange. Especially because whatever she was dragging seemed oddly human-shaped.
You're sure it was a body?
I think so. Had the right size and shape.
Well, why didn't you bring this information forward a little earlier?
I could have, but I generally don't have the time or energy to leave the reserve to contact anyone. Plus, there's always the possibility that I'm mistaken. The prophet hasn't been herself lately, but if I misinterpreted the situation and reported her improperly, I'd ruin my chances for opening my own wing of the retreat.
I see. Well, I'll look into it. Goodbye.
Fruitful and productive welcome, brother. I had a feeling you would visit me. I offer a wide variety of productivity seminars. I hope you'll consider taking one. But I should remember my manners. To what do I owe the pleasure of the Special Inspector's arrival?
Well, as an inspector, I think you already know that I'm probably looking into the murder of Halcyon Helen, and I would like to ask you a few questions.
Certainly, certainly. But first, I'd love to interest you in one of my productivity seminars. We'll free you of those potential hampering humors in a heartbeat.
Sorry, but I don't think I can spare the time. I've got a murder to look into.
Yes, I understand the pressure of one's employment all too well. We've lately been looking into more ways to bolster the retreat stock of bits. But you needn't worry about how this little conversation is affecting my livelihood, brother. Please, take your time. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother. How might I assist?
I'm going to ask you some questions about Halcyon Helen, and I want you to please answer truthfully.
Oh? I'm surprised. I wouldn't think the two of us would have much to discuss about her. We may have had some terse interactions before her death, which I most certainly regret. But beyond those, well, never mind. What would you care to know?
Where were you at the time of Helen's murder?
Why, I've been at the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve for quite some time now, as my disciples can attest. In fact, I haven't visited the Colonials since I arrived several weeks ago. Bad energies, you understand.
Of course. I hear you and Helen don't get along.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. The media tends to exaggerate. I will admit that her remarks about my seminars were rather unfortunate. However, I certainly wouldn't sharpen any sabers over it, if that's what you mean to imply. I only do that when my clients skimp on their bills.
Did you contact Helen after you left the Grand Colonial?
I did not. She had no interest in my seminars, and I had no interest in attempting to convert a stubborn actress. Why would I have had any cause to engage with her further?
I see. Let's talk about something else.
I hope you now realize that I had nothing to do with Helen's demise.
I followed your trail to where you dumped something in the wilderness.
Oh, really? What did you find there? What did I dump?
Well, there was nothing there, but by its proportions, I'd say a body.
That all sounds like hearsay, brother. Perhaps your humors are off balance and confusing your sense of justice. Perhaps you could use a seminar.
I'm afraid not. Someone said they saw you dragging a human-shaped lump in your yurt.
Who said that? I'll be sure to give them a special seminar on not needlessly implicating the person who puts food on their table. It was a bundle of clothing, brother. Even productivity geniuses need to do laundry from time to time.
Please, the quicker I get the truth, the faster I can leave you alone.
Yes. I suppose the more quickly we get off this subject, the better. I had a visitor, yes. But as it turned out, some of my productivity techniques were too much for them. I had to drag them out by hand. But their peers came and collected them shortly thereafter. I'm sure whichever attendee it was is perfectly safe now.
Alright, that's all for now. Prophet.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Discrepancy?
Analysis suggests this to be a variety of herbs. Herbs have been uniformly treated with a pungent chemical mix. Warning. Ingesting, smoking, or inserting non-corporation sanctioned substances into your ears may be harmful to your health.
What kind of herbs are we talking about here? Though the dry herbs are difficult to chew, the flavor is less bitter than you would have expected. It's woodsy, like tripperkel, with a singed aftertaste. Singed aftertaste.
Hypothesizing potential side effects from herb consumption. Most likely outcome, decapitation. Slight possibility of calculation error.
Well, burning these would generate some pretty toxic smoke.
Side effects from extended exposure include dizziness, nausea, and unconsciousness. Additional likelihood of organ shutdown and/or death.
Can you analyze the chemical these herbs are treated with?
Analyzing. Complete. Substance appears to be a mix of industrial solvents and various essential oils. Substances include woolly cow dander remover, sprat oil, and starship surface wax.
I see. Amplifier, how would these most likely be used?
Prior analysis suggests these herbs reach peak effectiveness when users burn them and inhale the resulting smoke. Whether or not this increased effectiveness is good for an afflicted individual has yet to be determined.
Alright, make a note of that and let's move on. What's this? From Ruth Bellamy to the Prophet of Profitability. I've talked with my agents and they've told me what I said about your seminars, not taking them, actually lost you about 30% of your revenue for the next 3 months, with future losses projected. When I said I wasn't much interested in attending, I didn't really realize that it hit you quite as hard as it did. Guess that's the price of stardom. Everyone listens a little extra to everything you said. I'm hoping, if you've got space, that I might be able to attend one of your sessions today, as a means of apologizing. I know that notice is short, but I'm hoping you could fit me in without too much inconvenience. Ruth Bellamy. Wanted to ask how that mix of herbs I sent you has worked out. I was skeptical at first about using them for meditation purposes, but hell, what do I know about productivity? That said, be sure to remember what I told you. Don't cut the herbs asymmetrically. It hampers the texture. Don't leave them out in the sun, and for the law's sake, make sure you keep the smoke doses small. Last thing you want is to accidentally send someone into a coma, or worse, kill them. Be smart. The other attendees of tripling profits through transcendentalism and I have reconvened, and we're all in agreement your seminars are simply top-notch. If you ever decide to visit the Grand Colonial, you simply must let us purchase you a round of drinks. Thanks to you, we certainly have the bits for it. Interesting. This is very interesting. Oh, sis. The world is beautiful beyond compare. I can see colors I never imagined existed. The sky has a voice and it's singing to me. I see the truth now. I see everything so clearly, so perfectly. The storms of Eridanos are notes in a great cosmic orchestra. The stars are the choir of the universe, and every word they sing is joy. I can't seem to stop smiling. I don't want to stop smiling. Ever. Oh, another one. Corporate authorized the name Eridanium gigaseus to describe the life form. Once we determine whether the creature is a viable flavoring agent, confection ingredient, or drinkable after fermentation, Rizzo's company branding department will provide a more consumer-friendly name. The life form is a parasite. This section reveals an incomplete system of rudimentary internal organs, a half-creature, an unfinished accident of orthogenesis. But how can this be? Eridanos is hostile to all life forms. Parasitism implies a rich biological diversity. I theorize that Eridanium gigaseus is not only endemic to the Eridanos planet, but was created in the organic waste of the same terraforming system that operates the atmospheric complex. Continuing my investigation, more reports to follow. Happy to be a part of the Rizzo's family. Dr. Amir Zhao, team biologist, Rizzo's Department of Geological Survey and Territorial Expansion. Oh, there's another one. Discovered several fascinating qualities of Eridanium gigaseus. First, the parasite's internal biology is, for lack of a better term, highly modular. An elaborate system of organelles, nerve endings, blood vessels, and hormone receptors exist inside its flesh. When attached to a suitable host, the parasite behaves like a biological extension. A metaphor. Imagine shoving a bypass shunt into a terminal. The shunt is the parasite, the terminal is the host. Second, the parasite's nervous system houses a string of kernel-like cells capable of receiving and transmitting neurons. What are the implications? Thought manipulation? Thought control? Third, I've noticed an ambient reverberation in the parasite's nervous systems during periods of intense electrical activity in the Eridanos atmosphere. The larger specimens display a greater sensitivity. There is a direct correlation between the complexity of the parasite's nervous system and its size. Fourth, there seems to be no upper limit to the size of these parasites. I theorize that these caverns may have housed a particularly large specimen. In accordance with company policy, beginning taste/ingestion test now. May the law protect my atoms. Dr. Amir Zhao, team biologist, Rizzo's Department of Geological Survey and Territorial Expansion. Oh boy. I'm guessing that didn't go well.
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother. How might I assist?
Hello, I've noticed some interesting herbs you have got here.
I'm pleased that you noticed. Excellent eye, brother. The compound they're treated with is my own invention, designed to unlock an individual's true productive potential when burned. I can't say any more. Trade secrets, you know.
Yeah, I know. I also know that they're toxic. Toxic enough to potentially kill someone.
None of my clients have ever complained, so I'm sure they're perfectly safe. Is there anything else?
Yes, you said you had no further interaction with Helen before her death, right?
Yes, that's correct. She made it clear that my seminars were of no interest to her.
That's interesting, because I saw a message from Helen on your terminal about attending a session.
Well, I suppose that does complicate things. Clever work, Inspector. It seems even I can't slide my way out of the trap you've so intricately weaved. I admit it. I killed Helen. By mistake. Helen changed her mind and wanted to attend one of my sessions. I, knowing the importance of the seminar, desired to truly galvanize her, though not to stop her heart. So when it came time, I chose to double Helen's dosage of productivity-enhancing herbs. I left her to meditate, and when I returned, she was dead. After that, I entered a less than coherent state. One of my disciples, it seems, witnessed me as I dragged Helen's body out into the wilderness.
And you were sure that Helen was dead?
I'm no medical professional, but that certainly seemed the case. Usually my customers at least writhe or mumble after a session. My productivity-enhancing herbs typically do induce sluggishness, but I suppose they must have been enough to do her in if her constitution was truly that weak.
And you said that you dumped the body at the wilderness, not the Grand Colonial.
Do you jest? The guests at the Colonial eat no shortage of strange things, but I think corpses are perhaps too strange. The creatures of the wilderness are much less picky. Besides, the hotel is ridiculously far. I couldn't have made it all that way without someone realizing I was dragging a corpse.
Did you shoot the body at any time?
Laws, no. I hate guns. If I ever wanted to kill someone on purpose, I would have used a blunt weapon. Nothing quite like clubbing someone over the head.
Prophet, I don't think you killed anybody. Certainly not Helen.
What? Is this some kind of joke? You're an inspector. It's your job to arrest me, isn't it?
If Helen's body wasn't where you left it, she must have awakened and walked away.
No. Someone must have moved it after I killed her. One of my business rivals, waiting for me to fall into a false sense of security so they can strike.
I'm afraid not. Helen's body was found at the Grand Colonial. She was killed there.
I don't believe you. I think this is all a trick. You're trying to catch me in a lie. Get me to reveal my productivity secrets.
I'm telling you, the only thing you've done is be completely negligent.
No. You can't trick me. I finally discovered what's happening. You've been paid off. Someone else learned that I killed Helen and is going to use that information to blackmail me. You think I'm going to let this injustice happen? Ha! Tell the constable that I killed Helen. It's 1,000 times less miserable than whatever my enemies have planned.
Well, the constable is dead, but I guess if you want to be imprisoned... I don't know. I can't figure you out. I think... whether or not you killed Helen, I think imprisoning you is probably the safest option.
Even if you think I'm mad, it doesn't matter. None of this does. Yes, I think that's smart.
Good. See ya.
Excellent to see you again, my friend. Hope you've been keeping your head high.
Here, I think I found everything.
What are these? Research data pads? Not quite what I expected. Let's see what they say. Parasites, caves, thought control. He did what now? Well, it doesn't look like any of this is in violation, but it is disturbing. And disturbing a surprised auditor is as foul as failing to file proper paperwork. Rizzos shall pay dividends for my psychological damage. Here's your reward, my friend. Your contributions to the field of surprise auditing shall not go forgotten.
See you around, friend.
Hey there. You find us those keys?
Yes, I have them right here.
That's all of them. You're a lifesaver and a half, Inspector. Lawrence, you got the bits?
Let's see, which pocket did I... Oh, they're in my hand. Here you are, Inspector. We'll make sure to put in a good word with our friends, too. I can't wait to put this behind us.
So what are you going to do now?
We'll wait here a little longer and start clearing out their rooms when the shift changes. Not sure what we'll do with their belongings.
Lawrence, we talked about this, remember? What belongings? Anyhow, thanks again, Inspector. Good luck with your investigation.
See ya.
Hey, I almost can't believe it. Betty found her way back. Here I was thinking I'd never see her again.
Yep, one malfunctioning mechanical as promised. She was trying to milk canids.
Oh, Betty, you big goof. What were you thinking in that little metal noggin of yours? You nearly worried me to death. And you, ain't you just the most reliable freelancer in the colony? Let me just take a look at Betty here and we'll talk about payment.
I'd like to think so.
Yep, that's right. Her parameters for movement and target acquisition are a mess. I'll bring her back to the garage and get her sorted out. Since Betty's back safe and sound, I'll be sure to let my coworkers know that you're a good one. Here's some money for your effort. Least I can do to show my thanks.
Alright then. Try to keep an eye on her this time.
Oh, I won't be turning my back on Betty again, believe me. Thanks again for all your help. You really saved us both from the edge.
See ya.